This is NBC10 Live at Issue.
Live at Issue, Sunday, October 12th, 2008. 23 days to the presidential election, and the puck stops here. And it's a Democratic deluge by the Obama campaign. In Philadelphia, the suburbs, and battleground Scranton, the economy, the images of Barack Obama and John McCain, now on Live at Issue.
Good morning. I'm Steve Highsmith. The Survey USA poll in Pennsylvania this past week showed a landslide win in the state for Barack Obama if the election were held last week. Obama campaigned here in Philadelphia yesterday. Joe Biden and the Clintons visit Scranton today. Senator Hillary Clinton campaigns in Montgomery County tomorrow. John McCain campaigned in the Lehigh Valley a few days ago. Governor Sarah Palin made a stop at the Flyers game last night. The final debate takes place on Wednesday. This rush happens amid the disquieting, if not frightening, troubles of the U.S. economy. What are we to make of each candidate at this point and how they have campaigned? With me now are two people close to the people they represent every day. Obama supporter, Philadelphia City Councilman Curtis Jones, a Democrat, and Montgomery County Republican Committee Chairman Robert Kerns. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you both taking the time.
Good morning, Steve. Thank you.
Who is the real Barack Obama? Curtis.
Well, after yesterday, I think if I were to use cliches, hope comes to mind, change we can believe in. I've never seen crowds this large. But beyond all of that pomp and circumstance, people actually feel, touch, and believe him. I've shook his hand, and he feels like a real person. He doesn't feel like he's just passing through a crowd. And in today's troubling times, I think that's the connection that most people want.
Bob Kerns?
John McCain is someone that everybody knows. He's got a track record. He's got a history. He's been a U.S. Senator. They're going to get what they see. They're going to get a John McCain who cares about this country, who deeply wants to do good for this country, whereas Mr. Obama is someone who they don't know. And that's really going to be the nexus of this race for the next 2 or 3 weeks. Who is Barack Obama against the John McCain who they really know?
And who is John McCain to you, Curtis Jones?
John McCain is a well-intentioned person who does not have a clue about today's problems. He's last century's issues.
Well, the campaign has turned on the economy, but with about 3 weeks to go, the nastiness of some people that had been relegated mostly to the blogosphere or to private conversation is now playing out where the candidates are, right in front of their face and in their ears. Booing McCain, for example, when he called Obama a decent man that Americans shouldn't be afraid of. Obama supporters booing when Obama himself said McCain was doing the right thing and trying to tone down the rhetoric. Vandals spray-painted the words "Republican means slavery" on the door of the York County Republican campaign headquarters in South Carolina, not York County, Pennsylvania, overnight Friday. At a stop Monday in Albuquerque, McCain asked who is Barack Obama, and a man from the audience shouted "terrorist." That same day, a rally in Florida, McCain running mate Sarah Palin criticizing Obama's ties to Bill Ayers. A supporter shouted out, "Kill him." These kinds of references, what is your gut reaction to why that's happening?
Well, this is a nation of over 300 million people. Many people have different views on what the candidates are and who they are. And at this point in the election, people are feeling very, very insecure about a lot of things, mainly the economy. The economy's driven people to a feeling at this point of utter frustration. They're frustrated with the current political situation. They're frustrated with the economy, and it drives them to take positions that I think they may rethink in a different economy.
I believe you're absolutely right. When people are afraid, I mean, deep down, the things that they've shattered the total notion of Adam Smith's theory of trickle-down laissez-faire. So when those basic principles are shaken, people grab onto things out of fear and out of emotionalism.
But there's always been passion now, and that's one thing. There's always been anger in most of these presidential elections throughout history, and violent words often said. What is different this time, Bob Kerns? Are Republicans, many of them, scared or worried about a very liberal nation developing?
Well, I think Republicans have a base which really does adhere to principles that deal with government that is less, government that is more efficient, government that is meant to do for the economy and for its people through those tenets. And
but has McCain been erratic in one sense, though, in that he authorizes these TV and web ads on airs, and another ad calls Barack Obama dangerous, and another ad says that he somehow is somewhat of blind ambition or bad judgment, I think they're the words that he used. And then he goes and tells the live audience that they should not be afraid of an Obama presidency. Is that a mixed message?
No, I don't think it's a mixed message. I think it's John McCain. I think John McCain is the kind of person who understands that people want to be secure in who they are. He is a secure person. He's the kind of person who understands who he is and what he wants to be. And on the same hand, though, people ought to understand who the other party is, who Barack Obama really is. We don't know who that is. And I think that leads to what you might call a mixed message, what many people would call exploring both sides of the issue.
Well, I want to get to that other side, but just to follow up really quickly on this, conservatives obviously are not happy that he supported the bailout, McCain, and that he wants this $300 billion mortgage plan. You had one supporter stand up and say, you've got to fight harder at the next debate, saying you were a real American hero, we want you to continue to be a real American hero. When his own people say that, you've got trouble within the party, don't you?
No, I think within our party, there's a lot of people who have different issues and ideas. That's what that's what makes this party so interesting to be in.
Well, let's go to the troubles of the other party, ACORN, and throughout the country, this long Democratic supporting organization has been accused of voter fraud or trying to perpetrate it in this current election. You have other supporters. For example, in St. Louis County, the Circuit Attorney Bob McCullough and the St. Louis Circuit Attorney Jennifer Joyce warned citizens in a recent television report that they would bring criminal libel prosecutions against anyone who made statements against Obama that were false.
Well, let me say this to you. Panic has set in the Republican Party.
But these are Democrats.
Yeah, wait a minute. Let me tell you what happens. When you have a ACORN that incentivizes voter registration through, paying for it. You have people that will take that opportunity to put down false information in order to be compensated. You don't make a mountain out of a molehill. That's 20, 50 new registrations. What we've seen across this Commonwealth, at least, and in my district in particular, 11,000 new registrations. We have the largest number of new Democrats in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania in its history. So, if you take 11 to 50 bad registrations compared to the thousands that were put on the roll,
well, there's no doubt about the success of the Democratic Party's registration drive in the last year. But the question that people are going to disagree with whether it's 15 or 20 or whether it's hundreds.
It is hundreds, and we know that because that's been shown in the different locations where actual prosecutions have begun on ACORN. We've seen that because of the way ACORN registers. They'll register at train stations without getting proper identification. They'll register at locations where you haven't the ability to check and see whether this person really does live in this state.
In all fairness, they've done a strategy of fear and motivation to inner city markets where they say, if you come to the polls on election day and you have an outstanding traffic ticket or some type of warrant, we will arrest you. Flyers have been circulated in the community to keep down the turnout. It won't stop it. These kinds of fear tactics aren't going to stop people from voting.
But even if that's true, and certainly voter suppression over the years has happened on people who have been Republicans, there's caging, there are all sorts of things that have happened over the years. But my point in asking this question is, one, this new era that the Democratic Party or the Obama campaign says it's in, isn't necessarily playing out to the letter down on the street level.
Oh, absolutely. When we go to college campuses, when we go to rallies and see the new enthusiasm of people, and whenever you get these large numbers, you're going to have mistakes. That's going to happen. But in general, it has been very good for the democratic process, both Republican and Democrat.
Quick response before we go to a break.
It can't be good for the democratic process when you're registering people who should not be voting. That in and of itself is a problem that we have to deal with, and ACORN is the major part of that problem.
Well, in Philadelphia, there's a long-time expression on Election Day, get out and vote early and often. More on the next president and a look at their imagery just ahead, and later a special request in honor of 2 fallen Philadelphia police officers. Stay tuned.
You're watching NBC10 Live at Issue.